TJ, 12 years ago today, LeBron James made his announcement, the decision, that he was going to leave Cleveland and go to Miami. Okay? Now, I got to give you a quick backstory to it, okay? So at the time, I'm working at ESPN. Dan's working at ESPN. Colin's working at ESPN. And I was walking. It was a beautiful summer day in Bristol, Connecticut. And you can walk around that campus through the skywalks where you never step outside except when you get whatever buildings closest to where you parked for bad weather days, which there are plenty. But on a beautiful day like this, it's like a college campus. You walk through what could be like a normal quad. And we happened upon Chris Carter. Now, I was leaving to go and fly to Orange County and guest host Rome is Burning. Jim Rome at the time was on ESPN2. And I think I had done Sports Nation filling in for Colin. And I'm walking with Scott Van Pelt, and we're talking about something. And we're talking about LeBron, and we happen upon Chris Carter. And Chris Carter's like, he's going to Miami. And at the time, Miami wasn't one of the primary destinations. And this was like 2 days beforehand. He's going to Miami. We're like, what? He's like, he's going to Miami. I just talked to Worldwide West. Of course, Worldwide West now works for the New York Knicks. And he was a very influential guy in basketball circles. And Chris Carter claimed Worldwide West told him he's going to Miami. This is 2 days before it happened. So the announcement was in the early afternoon West Coast time, early evening East Coast time. And this is how it went.
The answer to the question everybody wants to know. LeBron, what's your decision?
In this fall, man, this is very tough. In this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat.
Miami Heat. That was the conclusion you woke up with this morning.
That was the conclusion I woke up with this morning.
Why?
Like I said before, I feel like it's going to give me the best opportunity to win and to win for multiple years. And not only just to win in the regular season or just to win 5 games in a row or 3 games in a row. I want to be able to win championships, and I feel like I can compete down there.
All right, so they won 2 championships, played in 4. Of course, at the start, it was just Chris Bosh, and, of course, Dwayne Wade. They later added Ray Allen. That was a deciding factor in both of the championships. Where were you 12 years ago today?
Man, to be honest with you, I don't know where I was, but I know I was sitting in front of a TV watching that. I remember that. It was such – they turned it into an event where LeBron is going to announce his decision. LeBron, once he made that decision, he was a trailblazer because everybody started to approach their decision as the decision and tried to be calculated. Obviously, some better than others. It was something that, I'll never forget. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. Just that part of it you remember vividly. And we had never seen anything like it before. I'm assuming, and I'm going to guess because I am a homebody, that I was at home. But I remember that vividly because it was almost like it was a big game coming on TV. LeBron going to announce his decision at this time. Okay, I got to make sure I'm not doing anything because I got to see where he's going. And so I don't recall where I was. But me being me and knowing who I am, I probably was at home sitting on the couch waiting on his decision.
All right, so Jason Stewart, you were working for Jim Rome at the time, but in radio, right? Not in television.
Correct.
So do you remember where you were that day?
I do remember where I was in my living room, but I remember the reaction more because as Twitter was kind of not in its infancy, but Twitter wasn't what it is today. And I remember this being like one of the first major bombs on Twitter and the reaction to it. And the reaction, by the way, in the moment was very negative because I think the city of Cleveland thought he did like a bait and switch, or they felt betrayed. And as you know, Cleveland is a passionate sports city, and that negativity really came through on Twitter. And then the next day on the talk show, it was just full bank of lines from Cleveland hating on LeBron.
The owner didn't help, huh?
That's right. That's right. The owner
didn't help.
But that's what I remember most about that whole thing.
I remember watching it, and they flashed some random sports bar in Miami, and there was just a couple people in it, and that became the thing that we all locked onto. It was like you're leaving some place that's incredibly passionate about what you do and who you are for Miami, who they'll be happy to have you, but it's not like they even really move mountains to have you, you know? There's some other genius that hasn't been discussed to LeBron's move. It's not just that they built a big three. It's that they also pulled out the legs from the chair of the Toronto Raptors at the time, right? Because if you remember, the Raptors and the Cavs were two. Raptors were a playoff team. The Cavs were had the best record, I believe, that year in the East. And you took the two best players from both those teams and combined it with a guy who'd won an NBA Finals MVP, was still very much in his prime. Like that, you know, so two teams that you'd have to compete against in the playoffs were no more, and you're stronger than ever before. So I remember all that element to it. It's just crazy that it's been that long, but it was such a transformative effect. We've had plenty of guys leave free agency. We've had controversial decisions in the past, but we haven't had it for an athlete of that magnitude. That's the difference. You know, Brady, has happened since, and we thought it was only for a year or two, and now here he's dragging on and going to play a third year. But, you know, Jordan, that never happened. Kobe asked to be traded. Then he took it back, wasn't traded, never signed with another club. We just never had it before. A guy who was at the very, very peak of basketball, leaving not only the only team he had ever known, but also his hometown team. I think that's a big part of it.
When you look at LeBron, number one, it's very rare that a guy is fortunate, or maybe not fortunate enough, to be drafted by his hometown team. You just don't see that. It was just like everything aligned perfectly for the NBA, for LeBron, for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and that city. And will we see that again? I mean, you look at this year. Paulo Banchero from the Seattle area. Oh, they don't have a team. And so it's just so many variables that go into play. Some people may say, man, this lottery stuff is rigged, man. There's no way the Cleveland Cavs going to get to select LeBron. And then for LeBron to turn out to be what he is, one of the greatest, if not the greatest player to ever play on the court, off the court, his impact in enlightening his fellow athletes on the business side of the game and how to approach this contract situation. I believe his impact off the court has been just as much as his impact on the court. LeBron is a trailblazer in more ways than one.
It's crazy how time flies and how many of these other, you know, big threes they've tried to form or have organically on some level formed to different levels of success. You know, I would point to Golden State as another one, right? They're actually very similarly constructed to that team, you know, where you had 4 future Hall of Famers, but the big three was pretty well established. The big three is established with Golden State as well. They won 2 titles, could have won a third. The Heat won 2 titles, could have won a third, but we don't know if they would have won, how many they would have won had they won the first one. But that was 12 years. 12 years ago today, where were you when the LeBron announcement of his decision on the decision took place?